All right. All right, caught me off guard. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, August the 15th, 2023. Welcome to the Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring Wake Up Team. That's with the Queen, Cindy J, only place on earth where you get your morning started right. The chat room is open, or you can call in 570-982-6950. We're on YouTube. We're right here on Facebook. And God bless everyone, man. This is where you get your morning love. But most importantly, it's the only place on earth where you get your morning started right. Remember, we're doing summer hours. We're doing one or two shows a week until September when we come back full time. Cindy J, uh, on this glorious Tuesday morning, good morning, and how are you, young lady?
Well, good morning, Sean. I'm doing amazing. Good morning to everybody listening. We have a great show for you today. We're going to get started with Senny Says, where I will let you know what is going on in Hollywood and entertainment news, as well as Front Page News with Senny J, where I will let you know what is going on locally, nationally, and globally. So you want to make sure you stick around for that.
Now, before we get into all these hot topics and all that we get into on this show, on a turned up, is it turned up Tuesday, Cindy, or we changed the name of the day, the theme of the day? Is it still turned up Tuesday?
Yes, it still turns up Tuesday.
Okay. Now, here we go. So let's get into this real quick before we get into news. And good morning, guys. Please like and share the Shawn Harvey Morning Show featuring Wake Up Team on all media. See, before we get into I just repeated myself. Uh,
Yeah.
Cindy J, everybody, is in. I want to give Cindy J a round of applause. Cindy J is in California at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
where it's 4:30 or 4:20. What time is it in California right now?
Yeah, it's 4:20.
It's 4:20
4:25.
a.m. in California. So I want to applaud you for your dedication, Cindy J, for waking up in the middle of the night to broadcast this show. Thank you. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other day, as y'all, most of y'all know, I just came back from a cruise, an 8-day cruise, to various locations in the South Caribbean Sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying before, everybody's schedule is really weird. All the members on this show is so again, we'll make sure by the time the fall season comes, we'll all be at least in the same time zone. Now, now, Cindy, before I get into my whole thing, let me ask you, what's going on in California? How's everything going? What's up with you? Let's do that quick update real quick. How's everything going with you, Cindy?
Everything is going good. California sun is literally sunning. It's very hot over here, but it's been good. Nothing. Hanging out with family, so it's been a good time.
Cindy, I was on this cruise ship for 8 days and I became like a sea mariner, literally. We was on I don't know, guys, if you ever cruised on the Carnival Cruise Line, but Carnival Cruise Line is definitely the turn up ship, CJ.
Yes,
This is
it
like
is.
the Section 8 of folks. It's like the Walmart of shipping. It's where all your aunties and everybody get together, and it's a great time. And I want to say that I had a wonderful time, even though I did work, Cindy J. Remember, I was on that cruise to work.
Yeah.
I was on that cruise. Being the New York King talent, did four incredible shows for this particular group, and we had a tremendous time. But Cindy, I was on the ship so long that when we docked in Aruba, we left out of Orlando, Florida, right?
Right.
2 days later, we get to Aruba. And then we sail another day to another country called Bonaire, which is
Mhm.
owned by the French, the Dutch. The Dutch government have this Bonaire place. But Cindy,
Okay.
when we got off land, I felt strange being on land. I didn't like being on the land. I was so used to being on sea that it felt good. It felt weird walking on the ground.
Right.
and then wind up in the Grand Turks Islands, and then we came on back to Orlando, and all this took 8 days. And let me tell you something, Sydney. When I tell you each and every night I was going to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning
Wow.
from socializing and partying and just running with all these folks that it just threw my whole schedule off. So Sydney, when I got back to New York yesterday or
Hmm.
on Sunday night, when I got home, Sydney, I literally slept the whole day yesterday.
I know.
Uh,
I've noticed that I've been doing that too. Like after trips, I sleep for like 2 days. It's crazy.
Put a number one in chat room if you sleep like after you go on a trip. It could be something like a 1 day trip. It could be like driving down to Maryland and driving back to New York, or even if you're going for 4 or 5 days or a week. Do you guys have to take I literally slept the whole day. Do you need to take a day or two just to sleep this thing off?
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. I'm like, because sometimes, like you said, you could just like do a drive to New York. When you come back, you're like, oh God,
Right.
I need to take a rest. Like you need the rest of the day to like relax. So I don't know what that's about, but you know me, I'll happily take my naps. So
Cindy, I remember, and welcome to the show, guys. Only place on earth where you get your mornings. All right. I remember in my working career days when I had the day job, I would make the terrible mistake of doing the vacation, and on certain there's been certain times where I had to come back to work the next day
mhm.
after a vacation, and it was horrific for me to get off a plane and then do all the getting back home and trying to settle in, and you got to go back to work the next day. And I give you a example right now, Cindy. My luck, I still have my clothes. I arrived home Sunday night at about 10 o'clock at night. Right?
Right.
It's Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Cindy, my clothes are still in the luggage in the cart in the luggage, and I haven't even taken my clothes out
That's fine. My clothes will stay in my luggage for like 2 weeks.
yet.
I have to like literally talk to myself and be like, yo, take that out.
Put them on chat room if you have. How long does it take you to take the clothes out the luggage? Just doing that, Cindy, can take literally for me a week. And that's terrible. This is something where I should have just Sunday night, even though I was tired as hell, I should have started unpacking my luggage and getting that whole situation organized.
No, it
My
literally takes me 7 to 10 business days minimum
That's a
to
lot.
to get the clothes out of the luggage. And I don't care. 7 to 10 business days at the minimum. So that's
I
like
only,
my gauge.
and I only have 4 shirts and it's still in the luggage. Guys, what's the average time that you take the clothes out the luggage? I mean, because at some point, Sydney, let me tell you how bad I am with this on this particular trip. I had 2 pieces of luggage, right? The luggage, my big luggage bag, CJ, that I checked in with the airline, Cindy,
Mhm.
it's still in the trunk of my car.
Yeah. And there it shall stay. You might even forget what you brought and go out and buy new clothes. That's
But
how bad it is.
or go to the luggage in the car and take out whatever shirt I need for the day and keep it pushing.
Right. Keep going.
Uh,
It's
so
fine.
guys, welcome to the show. Hope is all is well. We are so happy to be here, and we truly appreciate you. Cindy, on a turned up Tuesday, we're gonna get into some Cindy says and we're gonna get into some news and we really one more time, Cindy, special shout out to Wendy Gonzalez who reached out to Mama Harvey, uh, showed us some love because I made a video while I was on the ship talking about if folks reach out to my mother because my mother don't I can't communicate with her.
Yeah.
Of course, people in the
Oh.
in the comments use WhatsApp. My mother don't have that. She's 91 years old, bro. I mean, age
But
has nothing to do. Age
she
has
could
nothing to do with it.
she could get the hang of WhatsApp. You should download it for her. She could do it.
Yeah,
If
but
she's on Facebook, she can do WhatsApp for sure.
yeah, but she doesn't have that. Maybe that was my fault. But people are like, you should have WhatsApp. Like, I'm like, I'm not. Oh my God, could somebody just get in touch with my mother? Shout out to my wife. She did all that for me. All right, Cindy,
That-
let's go. We're gonna get into some front page news. Welcome to the show, only place on earth where you get your morning started right. We're in the middle of the summer, and thank you so much for you guys for your patience. And we'll be back full time in September. Go ahead, Cindy.
Whoa, wow. Hey you guys. So a lot of stuff has been going down in these entertainment streets. The other day, actually, and this is so sad, actually coming off the heels of the 50 years of hip hop that everybody was celebrating all over the place. Magoo, the rapper Magoo, real name actually Melvin Barcliff, a rapper who has close ties to Timbaland since their teenage years, reportedly passes away at the age of 50 years old. Word of Magoo's apparent passing broke this week. Current Drew Hill member Digital Black uploaded a photo of Magoo's breakout album with Timbaland called Welcome to Our World that they released back in 1997. The duo had crossed paths in their hometown of Norfolk, Virginia, and Magoo's debut album with Timbaland featured collabs with stars like Missy Elliott, Aaliyah, Genuine, of course. The project was followed up with Indecent Exposure and Under Construction Part 2 in 2001 and 2003, respectively. Um, in the wake of Digital Black's upload, Genuine took to Instagram to chime in as well with a lengthy caption. Timbaland also shared a few posts to honor Magoo's memory, especially on social media. Lastly, Timbaland shared a clip from a track that he, Magoo, and Pharrell Williams had did together. So a lot of outpouring of tributes for him. At the time, though, they do not have a cause for his death, so it's still ongoing, and I'm sure like in the coming weeks we'll probably find out what was going on with it. So shout out to their family and rest in peace. I remember him. So many of these rappers sometimes, especially the ones that came out before, you hear about them. And then, like, we kind of forget about them, but it's always sad when they die because it's like, oh my God, I remember when they made their music. But sometimes, they're not in the spotlight enough for us to like keep up with what they're doing or they're not putting out music. So, and 50 is really young for somebody to unexpectedly pass away. So,
Well,
I will be finding out about that. I'll let you know what I find out.
our condolences go out to the rapper Magoo, who had this instinctive kind of voice when he was rapping, uh, and to his family, um, and 50 years old, and we don't know the cause of death, and our condolences once again go out. Now, speaking of that,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, they had the 50th anniversary of hip hop officially on August the 11th. And if you could get the story up for me, I appreciate you. On August the 11th at Yankee Stadium, where it was produced by Live Nation and Yankee Stadium, Sidney J. And
Hmm.
they had various artists from the past, from the present, from the future. So it was a collective of rappers that were performing on this tribute for 50 years of hip hop in Yankee Stadium, which I think is appropriate because hip hop started in the Bronx, New York. I don't care what anybody say. I'm from the Bronx, New York, and I'm proud of that. I hold that on my sleeve. Even though I wasn't there for the beginning of hip hop, I was there a few years after hip hop started in '73.
Hmm.
I got into hip hop in '78. My sister, God bless her, she was running around in the T Connection and all these hip hop places back in the day. So I'm proud of hip hop. Cindy J, uh, there's controversy with the hip hop community because everyone is saying that particular artists should have been on stage or should have been celebrated at this 50th anniversary of hip hop, um, some regions of the country wasn't recognized for their contributions in hip hop and for 50 years. The world famous rapper Luke was like, "Yo, what about Southern rap?" Uh, uh, we didn't get our acknowledgement to hip hop. The West Coast Snoop was performing. It was like, why Mac 10 and all these other people are not performing? The Furious Five and other disgruntled members want to know why they're not performing. And my whole thing is this: 50 years of hip hop, all the founding fathers, unfortunately, can't be on stage to be acknowledged with this, because hip hop is not run by African Americans. This culture is now run by Live Nation and people who have money. So the people who have money are the ones who are going to uh, uh, hire the particular act. So a lot of people are so upset that particular artists are not on stage or particular people are not being acknowledged in the hip hop community,
Right.
which I think, okay, yeah, I was Ed Lover went on live and I was talking to him, and Ed has an issue because he's like, well, we had Yo MTV Raps and none of that's not acknowledged. And it's like, at what point do we say, like, you can't acknowledge everybody? And all these people are pissed off.
Yeah.
City, tell us about the hip hop anniversary in the Bronx, New York. And that was another thing that upset me a little bit. Like, I was on this cruise working, and I wanted to be in the Bronx at the hip hop celebration of 50 years. Cindy, if I was in New York, I was going to that.
Yeah, I mean, to me though, I feel like there wasn't a lot of promotion for it. I didn't even know, or maybe it was just me because I had no idea none of this was going on. That it had been, 50 years and all this other stuff, and they were having all these concerts. So for me, I don't know. I felt like it was a little like uh there wasn't proper, uh there wasn't enough advertisement. I don't know. I felt like that, but I don't know. I guess everybody else knew about it and what was going on. Um, but I don't. You're right. You can't mention every facet of hip hop culture. It's always changing. We're different now in hip hop than when we were before. Some people say, hip hop is not even a thing anymore. It's very much, very commercialized and all this other stuff. So I mean, I don't know, but when they did this in the Bronx, they gathered for Hip Hop 50 Live. Some heavy hitters performed at Yankee Stadium last Friday. The All Star lineup included artists like Run DMC, Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, Eve, Wiz Khalifa, and Nas in a celebration called Hip Hop 50 Live. Tens of thousands of people pressed into Yankee Stadium to witness what promised to be an epic night. Inside, while artists like the Sugar Hill Gang were already performing, many fans were still outside waiting for hours to make their way into the ballpark. Many different people were talking to different news outlets about what this night meant to them. Um, especially with a lot of them living in the area, it's giving a lot of people's, you know, recounts of the night. It felt like a royal procession through many of the eras of culture. The founding parents of hip hop were there: DJ Cool Herc, his sister Cindy Campbell, who threw the block party 50 years ago this week that is now considered iconic events. Like Rick performed, Dougie Fresh, Cool G Rap, Fat Joe, Little Kim, Eve, Ashanti, and members of the Wu Tang Clan, Ghostface Killer, Method Man, among many others. While the show was heavy on New York artists, the South got some representation, notably with T.I. from Atlanta, Lil Wayne, and of course, when Snoop Dogg came out. One of the big night surprises was a collaboration between Nas, who is expected to do a set, and Lauryn Hill. A lot of people were to see her come out because she wasn't expected to be on the bill. The show finally closed with a performance by Run DMC. So yeah, they said it ended at around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
So yeah, it was a really big event, which I think is good. I
Uh,
don't know what, a lot of these pioneers in hip hop, I don't know what they expect to be happening, considering a lot of them aren't even putting out any music anymore.
yeah, shout out to Cool Herc. I know Cool Herc from the Bronx, New York, and Cool Herc used to hang out with us every Sunday at Cafe Lou's when Smokey Suarez and myself was doing comedy there. And a lot of these pioneers of hip hop, Cindy J, are really, some of them are very resentful at the fact that they are not being compensated for hip hop music. Uh, what a space to be in. Like if you invented something or or this music or a culture and you're not profiting off of it and everybody else is. My whole thing is you got to put that work in. You still got to go out in these streets and you still have to work and you still, well, Cindy said months ago, you still got to put out new music. I mean, I don't know if you're 60 years old, you got to put out new music. But if you have songs from 30, 40, 50 years ago, still work those songs and still stay out in these streets and still stay relevant. You can't be a pioneer that's upset about getting paid off the culture and you're not even out there working. You
Yeah,
still got to
because
go out.
at the end of the day, where's, like, this is my thing. Where's the people that want to get paid from off hip hop, right? Where's that check coming from? Like, is there a universal check cashing place where they're like, oh, you were involved in hip hop, here's the check for you? Like, where do you expect to get paid from what you did? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you have to be, how can you not be doing anything, no music, not producing, not creating fat, like not doing anything and expect to get a check? Where's the check coming from?
Well, I think well, Cindy, I mean, the checks can come from
Where's the
anywhere.
money but where's it coming from?
Well, Cindy, they can also have like sort of like any other industry. They could have a pension, a collective, some kind of fund that everybody puts a dollar or two in, and then pay some of these pioneers like a social security check. The Live
But
Nation, all these folks. That's never, Cindy. That's never going to happen. I'm just throwing out some ideas that this is to answer your question. This is probably one of the ways that they could get paid. Live Nation who produced this event. Come on, no telling how much money it costs to rent out Yankee Stadium. The pioneers don't even have the money to rent out Yankee Stadium. So we could just start right there. So Live Nation produced this event. If you look at and research, let's see how much Live Nation is worth off the back of hip hop artists and R&B artists, right? So Live Nation could take a quarter or 75 cent, 35 cent, 13 cent or for every event that they do that's related to hip hop and pay some of these pioneers. That's never going to happen. I'm just thinking of ways where they can get paid. Now, some of these pioneers,
Live Nation is their business is putting on concerts. They support many different types of artists. Why would they pay, a hip hop artist from back in the day?
of
That's
course, and
not
then
their,
that
you know
leads
what
to
I
my
mean?
next point. And my next point with this is the fact that some of these hip hop artists, including myself, remember we made the world's worst hip hop song that's ever recorded of all time.
Oh
Some of
my
these hip hop artists from back in the day, they stopped working. They stopped playing their songs. Some of these guys don't even know the words, can't remember to recite the words to their own songs. You shouldn't get paid. What are you getting paid for? Okay, you made a song from 35, 40 years ago. So now you want to get paid today for that song from
God.
a corporation that you feel that's robbed and infiltrated the hip hop music where now you can't get paid. So it's a fine line with that. I think the hip hop artists, the founding fathers, have come to terms with that, CJ. They
Mm.
have come to terms that you're not going to get a check. You did invent this, and it's more symbolic than anything else as far as uh, the hip hop culture with the founding fathers comparison to getting the bag or cutting a check. Guys, what's your thoughts in the chat room? Should the founding fathers of hip hop get a check from somebody, a pension? Should cool at least okay? So let's go just for one person. Let's just narrow it down to one place. What about Cool Herc, the guy who invented it? Well documented. He did the party. His sister was the promoter, and this is documented and this is factual. Should Cool Herc get a check? This will narrow it down to one person.
But where is he getting? Who's paying? Who's cutting the check?
All the record companies, producers, artists, everybody. He could get a check from three different places. But I would
No.
say the record companies, even though he didn't produce a record, I don't think Cool Herc made a record. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't know if Cool Herc made a song.
No, you're not getting a check for that.
So, Sid, you don't think just zero down to one Cool Herc, who's my guy?
No.
Do you think Cool
I'm
Herc should
sorry.
get that?
I'm sorry. I don't think you should get a check off of one thing you did in a
But
certain point of time.
but he invented the whole movement.
I don't think it deserves anybody.
So, Sid,
I just don't understand it. You have to continue to work in it. Diversify, do something. Start your own label. You know,
they
I
didn't
don't
have the
know.
money for all of that, Sid.
That's so unfortunate. I mean, I don't see like, people who started rock, I don't see them looking for a check. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what the gripe is. Like, everybody does what they need to do. If you're a singer, you have to sing to make the records. So if you're not singing anymore, you're not getting any money. I don't understand what else you want to do. You want to get paid because people are wearing one pant leg up and one pant leg down. Like, how do you monetize that? I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Cindy, what if you invented hip hop music in '73 and you're walking around with your African garb on and you're walking around like with your symbolizing, your culture, and everybody around you, Cindy, that you see every day are millionaires, and some of these companies are billion-dollar companies in value, and these people are around you. How would you feel about that? And you invented this whole thing, and you sitting there still taking the train, or you drive an average car, or you still live in the hood. You wouldn't feel a certain way.
I'd be like, damn, I wish I would have did something to capitalize off this. You know how many inventions I've thought of in my head? But
I mean,
when I see other people that created it, I'm like, oh my God, I could be rich right now because I thought of that first. It's like that. You just got to keep on moving because I didn't do it. So you just missed out. But don't get me wrong, I totally get the sentiment. I get what's going on. I get it. But it's just like one of those things. You just got to suck it up and be like, dang. If I knew then what I knew back now, I wouldn't have created a culture.
right, but Cindy, you can you imagine even the level of resentment? You could that could make a person bitter, feel very bitter about just the whole situation that they created. That would be a hard pill for me to swallow. Pause. Uh, I mean, can you ask for a job at some of these places, or can I be the international hip hop representative on earth? And could you pay me $1 million a year to do it? At least can I get that?
No, no. And I think that's the problem too. It's more, when you pave the way for other people, you know what I'm saying? They make it better and they improve upon, a lot more artists are owning their stuff, which back then nobody was owning anything. And a lot of them were getting screwed. And maybe that's why they couldn't have the longevity they needed because they, were getting screwed over financially. But you can't ask for something now that again, there's nobody to give it to you. Your label isn't I mean, that's what royalties are for, right? To continue to get paid from the record companies off of the things that you do, from what you put out. So if you're not putting out anything, ain't nobody to pay you.
I think they should. I think they should give a royalty check to at least the guy who invented it that's still alive. And how
Uh-uh.
does the record companies and the artists feel? I guess they don't feel any way as well. Like say you're a multi-million-dollar artist and $1 billion company. I think they look at Kool Herc. Some of these people don't. Some of these rappers don't even know who Kool Herc is. Some, especially the younger rappers.
I don't, for
And it's
sure.
just unfortunate. But anyway, shout out to 50 years of hip hop. May you have
Yeah.
another 50, and God bless you.
I
And do
mean,
and
yeah,
say it
may
with
you have another 50. What are so that, and that's a good thing for them too. What are you gonna do about it now for the next 50 years to solidify your place in hip hop? That's a good question for them.
right.
So
And it's only
capitalize off this.
and out of the founding fathers of hip hop, there's only really two or three that are still working every day. And that's Grandmaster Melly Mel and my man Scorpio from the Furious Five and Grandmaster Flash. Those are the original like founding fathers of the hip hop groups that are
Yeah.
still out there working every day and getting paid. So I do agree with you. You still have, if you made a song from 40 years ago, you got to work that song.
Word, you better remix that joint.
You better get your ass back. And the Cold Crush brothers, they're still out there doing their
You
thing.
better you better call Drake. Call him. He'll get you there. Call his ass.
Yeah, but the problem is Drake might want $700,000 for 2 beats.
Nah, just say I paved the way for you. I'm the originator of hip hop.
And then they go,
You wouldn't be who you are without me. Just fall back on that, and they should humble themselves enough, right?
right. So then they reduce that price to $650,000 in comparison to $700,000 per beat.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
Simple.
not that's not a bad idea. The founding fathers need to go to these top producers and go, yo, like they need to do that Quincy Jones situation back in the day when Quincy got all the artists together and they made "We Are the World," "We Are the Future," those songs. Like, yeah, all the old school 60 and 70-year-old hip hop founders should go to Drake or whatever, whoever producer, and produce one big song so these neighbors can get paid.
Yeah, just do that. And form like a union and say nobody can say the word neighbor unless it goes through y'all first.
That's right. And no one could use the term yes, yes, y'all to the beat, y'all.
And you don't stop.
Keep
Nobody can say
right. Nobody can say you don't stop and yes, yes, y'all.
exactly. That's what you gotta do. You gotta take ownership of your stuff and demand. The world is listening. Listen, we ready to cancel people. We ready to start new things. So capitalize on this time. Okay. You can identify as a popular rapper. You can do anything you want to do in this new world. So they need to capitalize on that.
So I say this to all my founding father rappers who are between in they late mid 50s to mid 60s. Get your asses back out there in these streets. Get healthy and start doing your songs and from back 40 years ago. And I'll take Cindy J's suggestion. remix your songs, and get back out here. And you never know, there might be a marketplace for you legends so y'all can get paid. If you're still into doing hip hop, if that's the case. Now,
That,
Cindy brings up another question before we move on. Is hip hop still hip hop, right?
yeah.
That's a concern. That's a concern. Has hip hop phased out and it's going into a new genre, or if it's still the same? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But go ahead, Cindy. What else you got? Shout out to the 50th anniversary of hip hop and the culture. And
Word.
I'm proud to say that because I'm from the Bronx, New York, and I was there after the first 5 years. Then I jumped on the scene, so I'm
Mhm.
grateful for that.
Wow. This this is going into life. I thought that it was really interesting considering the changing internet landscape. I have to get more light in here. The lights on a timer it went out. Illinois becomes the first state ensuring pay for child social media influencers. So shout out to Illinois. Many across the country have seen families become famous on TikTok and YouTube by recording video blogs known as vlogs with their kids prominently featured. Well, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a bill into law last week ensuring young social media influencers are paid for their work in videos with their parents or guardians. Children under 16 will be entitled to a share of the revenue from videos if they are featured in at least 30% of a vlogger's content each month. Parents or guardians will be required to set up a trust fund so minors can access the money when they are older. This is a bill that was brought by, Senator Dave Kohler said, this is a bill that was brought to me by a young 15-year-old high school student from Normal, Illinois. Her name is Shreya Nalamothu. She was concerned about the risks of children being used in blogging on the internet, especially where it was monetized and large sums of money were being created by their families in doing that. Minors will gain access to the money once they turn 18 or become legally independent from their parents. The plan gained strong bipartisan support in the House and Senate. Child influencers may seek a private right of action against their parents if they were not properly compensated. Illinois will be the first state in the country to have this type of protection when the law takes effect in January of 2024. The one thing I would suggest for the future is that the bill does not go far enough, said Senator Sue Rezin. We need to look at social media and the impacts of on minors in general, and I look forward to working on that topic in the future. This bill passed unanimously out of the Senate. The legislation passed out of the House on a 98-17 vote. Some House Republicans said they oppose the plan as they feel government should not impede on familial relationships. Hmm. I'm like 50-50 on that because, right, the government shouldn't be interfering what I do in my household. But, I think on a greater scale, it's better for the kids. Because how many, which I have another story about that, which I know you guys are all probably have heard about, the Tui family with the blind side, and all of that. But a lot of people, or even, I heard about that growing up, like Macaulay Culkin and a couple of other child stars, where the families like took over their money and weren't paying them. Social media is another form of entertainment where children are getting used. And sometimes some of these influencers that I follow, I be feeling like they be getting pregnant on purpose. Because if you think about it, it's content. Because now, on top of the endless amount of child content that you're going to have now, think about all the pre content you have. What products, what pregnancy products they're using, taking pictures of their belly every day. You have 9 months of unlimited content when the baby's not even here that you're making money off of. And then when the kid is here, it's just the possibilities are endless. So, um, I think that that is necessary.
Okay. And don't forget that Lizzo story, if you don't mind. Uh, yeah, of course, of course. Some parents are responsible to put some money to the side for these kids when they get older. And I'm going to say that's 0.5% of the parents. The other 99.5% of the parents, they're not doing that. They're keeping that money. Of course, they're spending, they're using the money for the kids or household expenses or whatever. But the profits, these parents are taking these profits from these kids, and these kids don't have no idea what's going on. So whoever the legislator in Illinois uh, proposed this bill, good for them because it protects the child. Because if it wasn't for the child, then most of these influencers wouldn't be influencers if it wasn't for the child. So
Yeah.
yes, they got to put some of that money to the side for the children. It's the right thing to do. It's accountability. If you put the money to the side for the kids, down the road they get their money. You already have yours, and then there's no discrepancy because you don't want a 16 to 19-year-old kid all of a sudden uh, confronting you about where's my money.
You had me on the internet for all of these years, and
Right? They going back watching all these videos, and they still walking around with skateboard sneakers on. And I would do the same thing. Mom, where's my mother effing money?
that would
So
be done.
this law stops all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it should be national, but right now it's only in Illinois. So if you're an influencer and you're in Illinois,
I feel, you know who I really feel bad for? I feel bad for the dogs. There's the dogs that are influencers. They not gonna get none of that money.
yes, that is
So
very true.
yeah,
I've seen this one dog's account, it's a golden retriever. This dude is getting brand deals, all types of stuff. And I'm like, you're not probably seeing any of that.
right.
I mean, his
Listen,
owners seem really great. Like they probably take really good care of this dog. So I'm
yeah,
sure, but come on.
listen. I'm gonna start pimping my dog in a minute. Trust me. Matter of fact, when the show's over today, I'm gonna do a quick video of my other homie Cooper. See what I can get out of that. And he's
I
not
mean,
getting it. He's not
people
getting it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
people love dog content. I follow this one dog online, and you guys should go follow her. It's a black girl who owns the dog.
Oh my God. Oh my God. A black girl that owns a dog for real.
It's original black owned content.
Oh, whoa,
The
whoa.
dog is black.
Right. And the woman is black. Black, listen, black dogs matter.
Black dogs matter. And her name is Sunday. Sunday the Black Lab or Sunday the Lab. Whatever. Look her up. Sundae, I think. And this all this girl does is dress her dog up in like outfits, but like she'll dress her up in outfits that look like regular people jobs. So she dresses her up in like a Popeyes uniform. She'll dress her up like a janitor, like a school bus driver. Like she dresses up this dog in different outfits. And that's all the content is. And she uses the same song in every video. I think it's like a Shaka Khan song. The one that goes, I forget.
Shakan. Listen, guys, I
Follow
have
her.
welcome to the show, guys. Only place on earth where you get your ones. All right. I have a golden doodle. Put a number one in the chat room if I should pimp my dog on social media. Put a number two if I shouldn't, if not to do it. Put a number one in the chat room if I should pimp out my dog Cooper on video. Put a number two if that's the no
Oh,
go.
wait, hold on, Sean. I think I was trying to post the Sean the thing and it's giving me an error. Hold on really quick.
And welcome to the show, guys. Only place on earth where you get your morning started right. We're gonna get into that Lizzo controversy in a minute when Cindy comes back because I find that very interesting. Shout out to Wendy Gonzalez for calling my mother while I was away. Thank you so much. My mother called me and she said Wendy gave her a call. So I truly appreciate that, Wendy, for calling my mother. Thank you so much. And guys, remember, hey guys, once again, I got a few free passes for the comedy show, Comedy in Harlem, uh, Thursday, September the 7th. All right, Cindy, what else you got? Hello?
Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, what else you got, Cindy? Free passes. You want to the comedy show? I'm giving out some free passes after the show today. Comedy in Harlem, uh, Thursday, September the 7th. Hit me up, inbox me right now. Put a number one chat room if I should pimp out my dog. Go ahead, Cindy. What else you got?
Nobody wants you to pimp out your dog.
Put a number one chat room
I don't
if
know
I should
what
pimp.
you wanted for the Liz. Sorry, I'm having problems with my camera. Hold on. It's like my face. I forgot what I did.
Cindy, what did you do? The camera was fine. The angle was okay.
I don't know. It's weird now.
Go ahead. What else you got?
When I left, I'm trying to find what were you talking about
No, I
with
think I think Lizzo was
Lizzo?
banned from the Super Bowl, CJ. Is that true?
She wasn't banned from the list. They're saying that she was taken out of. They're saying that she was taken out of the the possible lineup for doing the Super Bowl based on all the allegations. I mean, there's not anything really new going on to report there. They're just saying that she was taken out of consideration for doing the Super Bowl in 2024, but nobody, but to me that's just more noise to everything that's going on. There's probably hundreds of considerations for the Super Bowl this year. We
Put a
don't know
number
for sure that they were picking Lizzo.
put a number one chat room if you feel that Lizzo should be dropped from consideration of the Super Bowl. Put a number two if she shouldn't. Um, my thoughts. First of all, Lizzo would be a great artist, guys, for the Super Bowl. Think about it. Think about Lizzo. Think about Lizzo doing. Think about think about visually in your mind Lizzo halftime Super Bowl performing. I think that makes total sense, especially if you saw her HBO Max concert, which I did, and I became a Lizzo fan. That's well documented here on this show. I think I'm
Right.
the oldest uncle that loves Lizzo, and very proud of it. Until all these allegations came out, I still love the music, just like R. Kelly. I know Cindy said she's never dealing with R. Kelly again. I love the R. Kelly music. Now, for the culture to cancel Lizzo for the Super Bowl, is that extreme? Put a number one in the chat room if they should cancel Lizzo out the Super Bowl. Put a number two if they shouldn't.
Who wants to see a Lizzo halftime show?
I do. Put a number. That's the number one. Put a number one if you want to see a Lizzo halftime show. She's an incredible artist to me, but she always talks about her image and body shaming. But she body shamed her crew, her dancers, with all these terrible allegations.
I feel like Lizzo has enough time that once she's done this court case and everything blows over, and if she's founded to have not done these things, I think Lizzo is young enough. She has plenty of time in her career to do the Super Bowl. I don't think this is a nail in the coffin for her. Again, it was just a consideration. And I'm sure that there's plenty of other good artists. They're probably gonna like end up doing Taylor Swift or something like that, like, to be honest. So, I think this is fine. She has plenty of time in her career to turn this around. But I don't really care about seeing Lizzo at the Super Bowl halftime show, to be honest. So I don't think they were gonna pick her either. So
Uh,
this is fine. She needs to go on with her regularly scheduled program and focus on other things, like this lawsuit.
Cindy, wait. Let me just. I just wanted to jump out before you get back into your news and before we get the hell out of here.
You wanted to go left?
Yeah, I want to go left. Just left real quick. I was watching a very interesting interview on Instagram where a man interviewed a young couple. Uh, and the question was to the young lady, did her man pay for dinner? And she said, Yes, he paid for dinner. And then he said, yeah, I pay for all the dinners. Every time we go out, I pay for dinner. They're a couple, they live with each other. And he pays for everything. So the interviewer asked the young lady, does he pay the rent and does he pay all the household bills? She said yes. So he goes, what do you bring to the table? She said that she brought unconditional love. She makes sure the house is clean. She makes sure everything is peaceful in the house, and that he's happy. So he asked her if the roles were reversed, would you take care of all the bills for a man? And she said no. So he asked why. She said because she wants an alpha man, a man that leads, a man that she can feel protected with, and she will be submissive to that man because he pays the bills. So my question to you is this, City.
Whoa, way to take it totally left.
I know it went left. It went left. My question to you is this, City. If you was in a relationship with a man and the man was paying all the bills and everything, you had to do nothing, even if you still had a job. She used the word submissive. Cindy, would you be submissive to said man if you was in that position?
Yeah, I mean, I think people, use a lot of buzzwords and stuff like that because they're popular right now. Because I feel like 20 years ago, nobody was talking about submission. And now we're talking about it and what it means. But I think anybody is submissive to anybody who pays for them all the time, right? If you go out with your friends and your friend is paying for you to go out to eat, and they say, "Oh, let's go here to go out to eat," you're gonna say, "Okay," right? You're not gonna say, "Oh no, I don't want to go to, the pizza place. I want to go over here." And they're gonna say, "Oh, well, are you paying?" And you're gonna be like, "Oh no." Like anybody who has more money, people are gonna be submissive to what you want to do. So I think that's a given, regardless. I don't think it has to be a relationship thing. I think it's just a people thing. If you have money, people are gonna do what you want them to do. So I
One
think
more.
that makes sense.
So right, the buzz. So here's another buzzword, Cindy, that the internet is buzzing with. And welcome to the show, guys. Only place on earth where you get your morning started right. Next show out in the Lehigh Valley is October the 7th, and then we got another one at the end of the month in October. 2 locations. Sitting, a African American couple was getting married. I was watching this online on the internet, of course, and they were getting married, and the reverend was giving the sermon, whatever they call that when the reverend's talking before they give the vows, right?
Hmm.
So he said, sickness, honor, in sickness, health, sick, all that, right? He said all that. I can't remember all those words. And then he said, and
Nice.
and it's come from somebody that got this married.
Oh, I saw that video, and he said for poorer, and she
It said for
paused on
poor,
that
but then
part.
he also said, and to obey.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the ceremony, Cindy, she stops and she goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Obey. And then the reverend goes, yes, this is what we talked about in counseling, to
Right.
obey your husband. She said, yeah, we talked about that, but that's not going to happen. So everybody had this kind of weird laugh in the audience. And the husband goes, don't worry about it. Continue on.
Right.
Cindy, the question that I have for you and everybody in the chat room, is there an issue with the word obey in this culture, the time that we live in today? Because 150 years ago, it seemed like that was a normal word and everybody complied to it. Is that an issue with the obey your husband, or vice versa, your husband obey your woman? Is it the terminology or what it really means?
Oh, you're asking. My bad. I was zoning out. I think it's the terminology. I think people, they just don't, these words, they have like a negative connotation to it. So I think people are kind of like obey, like I'm not like your servant. You know what I mean? Which I feel like a little that's what people want. You know what
But
I mean? Or that's what men want. They just want like a slave in the house.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Since that could, no, whoa, whoa, wait, wait. I said at the end of my statement that women as well. I think women want men to obey them as well.
But
But we need to,
that's not what they ask the woman. They don't ask the man to say to obey your wife.
that's true.
So and then certain men take that to a whole nother level. Oh, you took the vow. It says to obey me and blah blah blah. I think we need to have a course again. I think we need to redefine some of these terms
But
because
Cindy,
some
what
people
does
take things quite literally and that becomes a problem.
but Cindy, what does the word obey actually mean in the dictionary? Can you look that up for me real quick? What does that mean? What is the meaning?
Okay, and in the
What's
dictionary,
the Webster terminology? The definition of obey. What does that even mean?
but shouldn't it be for both ways? So I think
I
that's
would.
the problem. I don't think the problem necessarily is the word, but more so on the specification that women have to obey their husbands. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more so the hang up, especially when we're in we're in this uh we're in
In this
this
what?
era of people redefining themselves and meanings.
Um,
Um, Obey, it's a verb and it
okay.
means to follow the commands or guidance of.
To follow the commands or guidance of. To follow the commands or guidance of.
Right.
To follow the commands or guidance of. So if you said to your significant other, go to the store, pick up some salt and some Windex, and you say okay and do it, and you agree to it, are you obeying to your lady's request?
Yeah.
All right. So it might be the word, Cindy, comparison to what it means.
I mean, yeah.
Could you repeat the definition again?
To follow the commands or guidance of.
To follow the command or guidance of. Don't we all do that every day?
Yeah.
So
But
all of us are
again,
the
it's the
person.
specification of obeying your husband
But Cindy, we
and
all
not,
do.
and yes, but men aren't told to obey what I say. We all do it, but why am I expected? I'm vowed to God to obey what you say, but you don't have to obey what I say.
Granted what you said, but I'm saying it's all the same thing. We've all obeying each other throughout our everyday lives, almost every moment of the day. So if my wife said to me, go to the store, pick up some eggs, that's a form of obeying what she's saying, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do? I think it's the word. And what you say about the times that we live in today and the culture that we live in, that word coincides with the culture that we live in, and it becomes it's more of a negative. Then it's just simply that I think we're all obeying each other each and every day.
Yeah. But we're not taking a vow to it. You know what I'm saying? A vow is something different. A promise that you are not to break.
So wait, no, Cindy, no, okay, let's play let's play mind gymnastics here. It's the same thing. If I did take a vow. So if my wife said go to the store and get some eggs, and I do it, it's a form of obeying her, right? But then I went and completed the task, right? So it's a vow. It's still a vow that I still completed that task.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
right,
again though, it's specific on women doing it for the man. That is, yes, we all do it. However, in particular vows, if we're sticking on marriage, it is a necessity of a vow of that a woman makes to a man to obey. And that's what gives it the negativity in today's world. Even though we all do it, that's why you want to get married, because you want to be, submissive to your leader of your man who's guiding your household. So at the end of the day, we don't mind going along with it. But when you really break it down and look at it, you know what I'm saying? You're basically making me say that I'm gonna do whatever for this person. And some people have a problem with that because it's very, heavy on the woman doing this for this man. And sometimes some men, which is, I feel like why we have this big conversation, is because so many men are taking it like so literal about this submission and catering to them and, being this traditional sorts, image of barefoot and pregnant for them. And I mean, I feel like it's very archaic. So I can totally get it. But I feel like in that clip, Shorty was doing way too much. Like, come on.
right. So let me ask you something. If one of your girlfriends, and then we're gonna listen, guys. Put a number on chat room if you enjoyed the show today. Put a number if you did. If you did, if you did. So what if one of your girlfriends says yes, since you want to keep it in that marriage and that relationship part of the obey that's very negative. Uh,
I'm not saying it's negative. I'm just saying that's why
I think
I
you are.
feel like it carries such a heavy weight of its meaning and why some people might have a problem with it.
So what if a girlfriend of yours yells out proudly, "Yes, I obey my husband," very proudly, and what would be your judgment meter on that particular situation, on that statement that your girlfriend would made?
I mean, it depends on what type of man you got. If your man ain't doing you right, I'm gonna be like, yeah, girl, you gonna obey him right into the poorhouse. You gonna obey him right into the grave. You gonna obey him until your kids is gone. It
And
depends on what type of man you got. If you
and
got
what
a man, if you got a man worth obeying, I'm gonna be like, yes, right, you better obey that man. So it all depends on what type of man you got.
okay.
Whether if I'm gonna champion you or roll my eyes. If you got a good man, girl, I'll obey him too. You need me to come over a couple nights a week? We can all get the obeying over there. You know what I'm saying? We can all get in on this obation.
No
I'll take
doubt.
an obeying class.
That's right.
Girl, I'm gonna be like, girl, how you get on your knees to
That's right.
obey your man?
That's right.
But if you're not the type of man that should be obeyed, I'm gonna be looking at her like, okay, that's why you where you at right now. That's why you can't come to Jamaica with us. Cause you
Right.
over there obeying.
Right. So there's levels of obeying, you would say.
I mean, I guess. I mean, no, that's not a level, but it's the type of person that you're doing all this for. And I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be getting married if I wasn't comfortable with obeying what my
Okay.
man said.
Good. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. Put a number one chat room if you enjoyed the show today. Put a number two if you didn't enjoy the show. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Only place on earth where you get your morning started. Right, CJ. Last words. What you got?
Um, first of all, I just want to just say something in the comments because they're over there talking about being traditional. A lot of men are not traditional men, okay?
Wait a minute, stop. So hold on, because I'm not
Everything
in the
is
chat. Whoa,
talking
whoa, whoa, wait
about
a
your
minute, wait a minute.
money.
Cindy, wait a minute. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm not in the chat room. I don't see it. What are they saying in the chat room again?
No, because just a couple of Robert McFall saying want our money but not follow the lead. But y'all want Jay said, but y'all want the man to play our traditional role as provider and protectors, but not play y'all traditional role.
Oh,
It's
oh.
just ridiculous. There's not a lot of men out here that are doing that. And if we look statistically, the men are not bringing in the money. So, the majority of men claiming that they're doing a traditional role. I mean, I just think y'all need to go back and regroup because women are outnumbering men as far as pay scale, education, and everything else. So I don't
So
understand where men feel like all these women are coming after their money when they don't have any.
what,
I don't understand how this is happening when
what
the men are not making the money that they need to be making.
so what about the men who are making the money though? Well, you already answered that question.
The men that are making the money can listen. When it ain't pimping if you got it. You know what I'm saying? The men that are making the money that are able to do what they need to do, they don't have these type of conversations. They don't have these type of problems because they're able to create the lifestyle that they want. They have women that look good and that are obeying. So they don't need to get into these silly conversations about getting women because they can get women because they have money. Therefore, that they can control their lifestyle. It's all these other people who don't have any money who want to talk about what women are not doing and how they're not da 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 da. I mean,
So are
it
you saying that the obey movement from men are coming from men that are resentful and maybe they just don't have the financial means and they could use that obey to try to have some type of control over a relationship? So that would be safe to say?
exactly because
All
if you got it like that, it's not a problem.
right, guys.
When men get money, what's the first thing they want to do? Go get women. So, I mean, there it is. There you have it. So everybody talking about complaining, you're either not able to pull women or you don't have enough money. That's it. Because even if you don't have money, if you're charismatic and you look good, you can get over on a lot. So those are the only people that are having these conversations.
All right, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Y'all can continue to talk amongst yourself. Cindy, you have the. I'm gonna give the last word, but Cindy, you give the last word for the last word.
My last word. I don't have one.
Okay. I want to say this. Special shout out to Cindy J. Remember, guys, she's on the West Coast. She's 3 hours behind us, and she's up this morning to do the show. So I truly appreciate you for that, and thank you so much. We got the show tomorrow, God willing, and you guys enjoy yourself, your day. Only place on earth where you get your morning started right. Cindy, let's wave at these people, and we see you
Bye,
guys
y'all.
tomorrow.
Bye, y'all.
Later.
Bye.